Ibrahim Traoré, the young leader who rose to prominence in Burkina Faso, recently became the subject of a story that shocked and inspired countless people. During a routine public outing, he unexpectedly encountered an old school friend he had not seen in years. The twist, however, was heartbreaking. This friend was sitting on the street, begging for food and spare change. The moment was surreal for Traoré, who had once shared classrooms, laughter, and dreams with the same person now struggling to survive. Witnesses say Traoré paused immediately upon recognizing his former classmate. For a few moments, the confident leader looked stunned, as though caught between the weight of his responsibilities and the deeply personal emotions welling up inside him. Memories of their school days seemed to flood back, the long walks home, shared meals, and conversations about a brighter future. It was a stark reminder of how drastically life paths can diverge, even for those who once walked side by side. As onlookers watched curiously, Traoré approached his friend with humility and compassion. He did not send aides or guards to handle the situation. Instead, he personally knelt beside the man, showing the same respect he had always shown him in their youth. The gesture shocked the crowd, who expected him to remain distant. His choice to lower himself to the level of his struggling friend revealed not only recognition but also a powerful message of empathy and humanity. The old friend, overcome with emotion, could barely believe his eyes. At first, he hesitated, unsure whether to speak or remain silent. Years of hardship had worn him down, leaving him fragile and ashamed of his circumstances. Yet Traoré's warm expression reassured him. Tears welled up in his eyes as he whispered Ibrahim's name, his voice cracking with both disbelief and relief. The reunion was raw and emotional, witnessed by dozens but felt most deeply by the two men themselves. Instead of turning away or offering a token gesture, Traoré embraced his friend tightly. It was a simple act, but it carried enormous significance. Many leaders are accused of forgetting their roots once they achieve power, but in that embrace, Traoré proved otherwise. He showed the world that true leadership is not about prestige or distance, it is about remembering where one comes from and acknowledging those who once shared in one's struggles. After their emotional reunion, Traoré listened carefully as his friend recounted the difficulties that had led him to the streets. Life's misfortunes, lost opportunities, family hardships, and economic struggles had slowly dragged him into poverty. Instead of dismissing the story, Traoré placed a comforting hand on his shoulder, promising that things would change from that very moment. His words were filled with sincerity, and the crowd surrounding them could sense that this was not a hollow promise. What happened next left the entire gathering in awe. Traoré ordered immediate assistance for his old friend, ensuring he would receive shelter, food, and medical care. But he did not stop there. Reports claim that Traoré arranged for long-term support, including education opportunities and reintegration programs, so his friend could rebuild his life with dignity. This was not charity, it was empowerment, giving him the tools to stand tall once again. The images of Traoré helping his old classmate quickly spread across social media, sparking emotional reactions worldwide. Many praised his humility, contrasting his actions with those of other leaders who often remained detached from ordinary people. The video of him embracing and helping his childhood friend went viral, shared thousands of times with captions calling him a true man of the people. In a time of growing cynicism about leadership, his act reignited hope. Analysts and commentators quickly pointed out that this moment captured the very essence of Traoré's philosophy. He has long spoken about lifting up the forgotten, restoring dignity, and building a nation where no one is abandoned. By helping his old friend publicly, he transformed those words into visible action. It was more than just an emotional reunion, it was a symbol of the kind of compassionate leadership many believe Africa, and the world, desperately needs. The story also sparked important conversations among ordinary citizens. Many began reflecting on their own lost friends, neighbors, or classmates who had fallen into hardship. Traoré's act of kindness encouraged people to look beyond judgment and instead ask what they could do to help those around them. It was not just about a president helping one man, it was about inspiring an entire society to reclaim its sense of solidarity. For his old schoolmate, the gesture meant far more than material aid. In interviews afterward, he said the most powerful part of the encounter was not the money, the food, or even the promise of support. It was the fact that Ibrahim recognized him, embraced him, and treated him as an equal. After years of feeling invisible, that recognition restored his sense of worth and reminded him that he still mattered. Observers noted how unusual the scene was in a world where many leaders travel surrounded by layers of security and rarely engage with ordinary citizens in such personal ways. Traoré's willingness to pause his busy day, kneel in the street, and embrace an old friend without hesitation distinguished him from typical political figures. It humanized him and reinforced his image as a leader genuinely connected to his people. The emotional encounter did not just touch hearts, it also added to Traoré's growing reputation as a leader who blends strength with compassion. His political rise has been defined by decisive action and strong rhetoric, but this softer side revealed another layer of his character. It showed that toughness and empathy are not opposites but can coexist powerfully in one individual. International media outlets soon picked up the story, framing it as a rare example of authentic humanity in global politics. Articles and headlines praised him as a leader who remembers his roots, while others suggested his actions could inspire leaders worldwide to reconnect with the people they serve. For many outside Burkina Faso, the story was their first introduction to Traoré, and it left a lasting impression. The story also sparked debate about the importance of education and opportunities. Many reflected on the irony that two boys who once sat in the same classroom ended up on such drastically different paths. It highlighted how fragile life can be and how critical social support systems are in shaping people's futures. Traoré's intervention underscored the need for policies that prevent such tragedies from repeating themselves. For those who had grown cynical about leaders, the viral footage was a refreshing change. It reminded people that leadership, at its core, is about service and care, not just speeches and policies. Traoré's choice to act with compassion instead of indifference set a high standard for others in power, proving that real strength lies not only in commanding authority but in showing kindness. As days passed, the story continued to inspire, with many calling it one of the most moving public acts of the year. Communities across Africa and beyond used it as a rallying cry to check in on their own neighbors and classmates, rekindling the spirit of unity that is often lost in the race for survival. The image of Ibrahim Traoré kneeling to embrace his struggling friend became a symbol of hope and solidarity. For Ibrahim Traoré himself, the moment was deeply personal. He later explained that seeing his old friend reminded him why he chose the path of leadership in the first place, to make sure no one is left behind. He stressed that poverty and hardship can strike anyone, and society's duty is to extend a hand, not turn away. His words carried the authenticity of someone who had not only spoken about change but demonstrated it through action. In the end, the story of Ibrahim Traoré finding his old school friend begging on the street was more than a headline, it was a testament to the enduring power of humanity. It showed that even in positions of immense responsibility, true greatness is revealed not in moments of glory but in acts of compassion. By choosing to remember, to embrace, and to uplift, Traoré gave the world a lesson it will not soon forget.